Hello, it's another dream video. Today I've got to go into work, first time back, to discuss my new shift structure and all that. I don't know whether it was that or the cheese and onion quiche I had before I went to bed. I had a very strange, really vivid dream. It's my 40th birthday, which is in a year's time soon. My 39th is in December. And for some reason, all of the people I talked to on Twitter were at a party, and it was for some reason in New York. But I've never been to New York. And there were people I work with, and weirdly people who I know are dead, like my nemesis at school, who died back in, I think, 2001. Very, very strange, really vivid. You know, I was having conversations with people they pulled out a cake and I was blowing out the candles. Everyone was drinking. And there were people like porn stars and politicians, things like that. People I talk to on Twitter mainly. You know, people who do videos on YouTube, and very strange. And there were some of my relatives who are dead. I don't know what that is. Maybe I was being given a glimpse into the afterlife. Yeah, because one of the afterlife ideas that I quite like is the possibility that the afterlife doesn't follow a normal chronological pattern. Therefore, so when you die, because you're not following a chronology, the people who haven't died in this world have died in that world already. So everyone you know and like, you'll meet again in the afterlife straight away. No time lag or anything like that. It's like the idea of reincarnation I've always liked, is that reincarnation isn't based on chronology. That if I died today, I might be reborn as someone in the Roman age. Because there's nothing in there that says that you have to be born today and die today and then be born tomorrow. People have just added that logic. There's no real chronology thing written in the Testaments. They basically worked out from the King James Bible onwards the dates of things. That's why I find people like Ken Ham, who seems to try and meld the Old Testament with archaeology, and makes ridiculous claims about the Garden of Eden having dinosaurs in it. My point is, you either have faith or you have science. Some scientists can have faith, but they don't base their science around it. I just find people like Ken Ham a fraud. Someone who is basically faithless. He's a faithless man who pretends that he's a religious man and he's not. His whole religion, like a lot of right wingers I've seen, is basically a self-worship. They speak about a God who is very much like themselves, very egotistical, very single-minded, not open to new ideas. And though I've bounced between atheism and possibly the I like the idea of Christ just being a man with good ideas. There is a percentage of me that would like to believe that there may be an afterlife, but I don't believe in a God that's constantly listening at your ear and constantly dabbling with people's lives. I have seen no evidence of that at all. Also, the logic falls to pieces when they claim that God has infinite powers. Well, that falls apart because you get things like the Great Flood. If God had power to wipe out whole peoples like that, why didn't he just do that? Why have a flood? Why go through all of the complexities of having to get animals onto a boat? Why not just release a disease that just affects human beings or affects the evil? Doesn't make any sense. Especially when you look at things like Sodom and Gomorrah. If God can do that, why didn't he just do that to all the evil people in the Old Testament? In the Book of Noah. I'm a firm believer in the Old Testament are possible blown out of all proportion folk tales. I can understand why you had Book of Judges and Exodus and things like that as part of a tribal culture, because it basically enabled men to dominate women in many ways. If you're living in a small society, I can understand a small society having a homophobic attitude if there's not really enough people to keep things going, particularly if you're relying on subsistence farming. I can understand there why people are homophobic, but when you've got a society that's got billions of people, I don't understand that at all. I just find that as people being shits to each other for no reason. Yes, the Coptic Bible I strongly recommend. If anyone's listening to this and thinking, where does he get his faith from? Well, I get my faith from things like the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Coptic Bible, which is a much closer version of what Christ was saying. I quite like elements of the original Hebrew Old Testament, the one before the Catholic Church started pulling it to pieces and taking bits out and putting other bits in. Stories like Book of Enoch. I like the legend of Lilith in particular, that the first woman wasn't going to be pushed around by a bloke. I like that idea. I don't believe in feminism, and I don't believe in manism. I think that everyone should be completely equal in a society. If you're an intelligent creature, you should be treated with respect, and I would include pigs into that equation. If an animal is intelligent enough to fear things before they happen, therefore being cruel to them is worse, because they have fear of pain, and that's what pigs get, and dolphins and whales and all the intelligent animals. Sheep and cows, they're not really that bright, and because basically they've been bred not to be that bright. Yes, Anyway, I'm getting completely off topic. This dream was really vivid and quite strange in many ways, but also quite nice. You know, I talk to people on Twitter, but you never get to talk to them vocally, which is a shame, really. I think that'll probably be the next step in Twitter. That'll be like a video thing, because you can already post videos, but you know, I'd like to see Twitter have something like a forum where you could literally just sit in front of your telly patched into a camera and talk for about half an hour about whatever subject you want, and it would be put out on a forum thing for everyone to go and have a look at, and be completely free speech like Twitter is. That's why I like Twitter. For good and bad, you get people like the arsehole who basically was accusing me of all sorts of nonsense merely because I pointed out that children understand. But the whole point was I was talking about this ridiculous obsession, particularly right-wingers have, in putting children in cotton wool all the time and having them not understand about sex for some reason. My niece and nephew have had sex education, and that was my point. I said that children understand what sex is. Why say that it's some terrible, frightening thing that they should never get involved in? Why don't you just say it's an enjoyable thing that human beings have enjoyed since day one? Why project your own fear about sex onto someone else? And this nutcase, oh, paedophile, oh, how dare you, you sicken me, all this stuff is like. And as I put my block on him, I sent him a message, because I normally do that. I don't like blocking people for no reason, so it makes them upset about why they've been blocked, because that's happened to me before. People have blocked me and I've got no idea, no explanation, they just block you. And I said that I believe in freedom of speech, but there's nothing in the wording of freedom of speech saying I have to listen to what you're saying. And I completely blocked the bastard. Yeah, he's one of the nutcases who runs Infowars.com. And he's a pretty offensive, scummy individual anyway, so I'm not really crying over not sort of being able to message the twat anymore. Yeah. Anyway, vivid dream. May have been the quiche. May have been I had some pepperoni with it as well. I just don't know. I'll see you at the next video.